I'm sorry, Molly. 3, 2.
All right.
Hey, Molly, hang on one second, Molly.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. I am honored to be with you this morning. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez, and we're live on the Daily Huddle. We're live on YouTube, and we'll put it on Facebook in a minute. I'm just honored to be with all of you this morning. Thank you all for making it on this Friday, May 22nd. And it's just the opportunity of co-hosting the Daily Huddle has become something that really rails me back to being a powerful human being. So thank you all for allowing this to happen as well. I want to introduce the #1 executive coaching expert, Mr. Sorel Catan. Good morning, Sorel. How are you?
Good morning, Giovanni. I am awesome this morning. You know, any day, any human being wakes up and has the opportunity to be in a circle of contribution, such as the Daily Huddle, it's a great day. And I have been having great days for 45 straight working days, man. This is episode 45. Can you believe it?
I believe it.
Believe it, believe it. And we're going to 365 before we blink an eye, okay? So I mentioned the circle of contribution that the Daily Huddle is. Just about everyone in the studio audience and on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, watching around the world. Consider this. Consider that the very thing you're looking for right now is sitting right there with one of the people watching the Daily Huddle with you. So in addition to the Daily Huddle being your shot in the arm to give you what you need, Giovanni's fond of saying, you know, how you start your day makes a big difference. How you live your day give you how you live your life. Well, how you connect to the people who are here in the Daily Huddle with you will give you everything you need for your business. So we intend for the Daily Huddle to be that venue for you. And Giovanni, I cannot wait for you to introduce our guest this morning.
Sorel, we have a very special guest today. I'm honored to have the opportunity to introduce her. I've gotten a chance to see her speaking in different platforms, and I told her I want you to be at the Daily Huddle, and she was very generous to be here. I'm gonna say a little bit about her and a little bit about her life. She's someone who's really an inspiring human being. And then I will get us started, okay, Molly?
All right.
So a little bit of Molly's bio, and then she'll say a little bit more, right? But 12 years ago, Molly had a head-on collision due to a distracted driving with a pickup truck. And as a result of the accident, she sustained traumatically brain injury and was in a coma for a period of time. Consequently, Molly went through a rigorous period of physical, occupational, and speech therapy to relearn everything. To this day, she has no use of her right arm, limited use of her right leg, and rather quiet voice. As traumatic as the accident was into her life, she started her own nonprofit motivational speaking company called A Second Later, all in an effort to promote a message about dangers of distracted driving. She has spoken at the Georgia legislators prior to the adoption of hands-free law. Also, she spoke at several mock traffic crashes given to high school students at various high schools. And she has also spoken at the Rotary Clubs, the Medical Association of Georgia, and she also has been a TEDxEmory speaker. Today, we have the privilege to have her at the Daily Huddle speaking about life. If life is not so terrible, why give up? Thank you, Molly, for being here.
Good morning, all. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. I was a junior majoring in journalism at Auburn University, and I had just gotten a job at the school newspaper. So I had taken some interviews on my recorder for an article that was due. And then one weekend, my best friend called me and said she wanted me to return home for the weekend. So I went home, spent the weekend with her, had lunch with my family, and then started the trip back towards campus. Well, I believe I was listening back to those interviews I had taken or trying to catch up on an article that was due while driving, because I was one exit from campus and I went clear across the median and head on with the pickup truck. Now, the reason why I say I think I was listening back to the interviews are because it was all recorded on tape, like everything from the country song I was listening to. I was in Alabama and liked country at the time. Not so much anymore. To the sound of this gentleman saying, "Help us on the way, breathe easy," to the sound of the sirens and paramedics, and then it just cuts off. So I must have clenched the record button upon impact with the truck. As a result, I sustained traumatic brain injury and I was in a coma. I had what's called diffuse axonal injury. That's where your brain rips or shears. And it's been, while I was in that coma, I got transferred to the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. It's a brain and spinal cord injury hospital, if y'all haven't heard of it. And I was there for about a month when doctors told my family, we've really tried everything we can. She's not coming out of her coma or making any progress. So we're gonna have to send her home with y'all. And my family was in shock, but the doctors reassured them that sometimes when a patient does go home, certain scents and sounds can bring them right out of the coma. And that's just what happened to me. So one day my sister came in my room and she started playing Bible songs. And I started mouthing along to the words. And then another day, my father came in my room to stretch my right arm. And the pain was so intense, and I had no way to verbalize it or tell him to stop. And he started to stretch up higher, and I started to reach my head down towards his arm, and I just bit the heck out of him. So he was like, "Look, Molly, next time, just tell me to stop." So the next time he came in my room to stretch my arm and mouth the word "stop." And Shepherd Center was real smart because they sent me home with their webcam so they can watch my progress from the hospital. So as soon as I was done mouthing the words, I had only a couple more criteria to do, like pet my dog, brush my hair, brush my teeth, raise one finger for yes, two for no, before I could go back for more intense therapy. Now, one of those intense therapies was speech therapy. It used to be where no one could understand me. And people are also kind. They try their absolute hardest to smile and nod and respond to whatever it is that they thought I said. At the time, it made absolutely no sense. I'd be like, "So what did you guys have for lunch?" And they'd be like, "It's over there in that corner over there." I'd be like, "Sounds delicious." And so I had to go through three, a bunch of articulation and pronunciation exercises before I could get my speech sounding a little more normal. The next part of speech therapy was I had to relearn how to swallow. I used to have to eat puree food or ground up food like baby food, and being 21 at the time, that was not okay. I used to have to drink my fetus out of a cup, and so I had to go through 3 swallow studies. And at the first time, I was sucking both the food and liquids down to my lungs. So I had to go on pureed. And the second time, I was swallowing only the liquids down into my lungs. So I had to go on thickened liquids. And third time, I could eat all the fajitas and drink all the pina coladas that I wanted to. So the next intense therapy was physical. I went from a bed to a wheelchair to a walker to a cane, and I can go a couple of steps without my cane, and I start devising ways in which to burn it, but I just haven't kind of come up with one yet. So the third intense therapy is occupational, and that's where they work on your arms. And they used to try all these different exercises on my right arm, including this one where they put this little device on it, which opened and closed it. And I was supposed to wear it for about 6 months for about an hour a day. And then I was just supposed to start doing it on its own, but it never did. So it was super frustrating. But on a good note, I'll talk about Auburn University. All right, so I had to finish what I started. So my electives I could take anywhere. So I just took them online. But my core classes I had to take at Auburn. And that was really hard considering I didn't drive. But my professors were so kind, they only made me go once a week to class. And then my family all took turns driving me down to campus. So it took me an extra 3 years, but I finally walked across the stage to receive my diploma. And then it took another 3 to find a part-time job. And it was in social media, which was kind of like my major of journalism, but it was behind a cubicle all day. So I had no social interaction. So I was only there for about 10 months, and I started to get an idea. I started to think, why not use my experiences to help others not have to deal with all this hardship that I do? So I took Uber to Starbucks one day and started having a conversation with the business owner. And he was from New Tech Solutions, and he has a software that uses mostly texting. And what he wanted to do was be like, you can text us, but don't do it while you drive. So he said, how about me and my other business owner help you create a public service announcement in a nonprofit motivational speaking company. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. It's just a second later, one word. There are many ways people can become distracted. It wasn't a text in my case, but it is in many. It's been 12 years now, and my life still revolves around this wreck. I think about it 24/7. I don't want to, but I've got to. So, what if I was to tell you all about hours upon hours it's been waiting on modern mobility to get to places like work and Shepherd Center? Or what if I was to tell you about the fact that I was dominant on my right side and had to relearn everything single-handedly on my left? Or what if I was to tell you that I used to have such a passion for running? It gave me so much joy and freedom. Now I never can again. But I'm not going to tell you about any of that. Instead, I want to tell you that if I could change a day I drove distracted, I would in a heartbeat. So now that you've heard just some of my problems, what are y'all going to do? Are y'all going to put all your electronic devices out of reach? Are you going to put both hands on the wheel and buckle up? It's a choice. Please choose the correct one. Now I'll tell you about 3 phrases that helped me through this process. The first one is you can't change what happens to you, but you can change how you respond. And number 2, you have to be accountable for your own life. And number 3, no matter how big or small the problem is, there's always someone there to help. And I would elaborate on these 3, but I know we're pressed for time. So instead, I'm going to tell you about a book that I recently read by John O'Leary. And he said, no matter whether the problem is viewed positively or negatively, it's a choice. You have to focus on the good, because you can either be a victim or a victor. The best is yet to come. And he also wrote about a quote that John Lennon said that was, everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end. So please, y'all, don't drive distracted and never give up. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Well, Molly, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. And as you're sharing your story, I can get the strength that you are, the power that you have, and the love that you have for life and for a legacy. So I just really, truly wanted to thank you. I have questions, of course. I just want to go at questions, but I want to open up the studio to see if anyone has a question or a comment that they want to participate in. Sorrel, you have any questions?
Sheila James does have a question, and then Pat.
Yes, if you don't mind, first of all, Molly, thank you so much. Your story was moving and riveting, and I once was in a very traumatic accident as well, so it just kind of brought that up and how grateful I am to be living. And I worked at the Shepherd Center too, so that was pretty amazing. Which I call the Miracle Center. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Molly?
I am 33, and I was 21 when I had my wreck.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was just your sharing just moved me and got me present to how priceless life is, and grateful I am, and grateful that you're here. And your presentation was extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Mary
Yeah.
Pat?
Molly, thank you so much. Wow. I'm a speech pathologist, and I say you are truly a miracle, not because of the work we do, but because of the work you did. So thank you for really taking on your life responsibly and really moving to where you are right now. I would just, if I had been your speech pathologist or speech therapist, I'd be jumping up and down because you are truly a miracle. And thank you. What a riveting message for all of us and for our children and for our grandchildren. So thank you, Molly. for who you are and what you're standing for in the world. And that's human life and the value of it. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Pat. Thomas, go ahead.
Yes. I also went through a rather horrific accident, and actually it was because of a device that failed to operate, and it killed me, and I was brought back to life. So I value life on a whole new level that people just don't get until you lose it. And then when you get it again, it has a meaning and a value that there's no way you could get any other way. So I applaud you for the
Thanks.
courage to move forward. I know it's hard. Just keep it up.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Andrea, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Molly, for such an inspirational moment. It's perfect for a Friday for each one of us to take a pause in our lives and to look around and be thankful for everything. So thank you. You moved me. One of the things that you mentioned was big or small, there's always someone to help. One of the phrases that really helped you and connected you with reality. So my question is, how can we help you? I've been searching about A Second Later, the nonprofit organization you started. How can we, this group of people, help you promote the word about the importance of paying attention to your present, particularly when you're driving, so you don't experience such a trauma in your life? So how can we help you promote the word?
Thank you. Because of COVID-19, I have had virtually no speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm.
So when things open back up, if you could just tell as many people as you can, because I would love to speak to anyone. Right now, I speak to youth, high schools, business organizations, nonprofits, and faith groups,
Okay.
like churches. And so I'd be happy to spread my message with anyone.
And as a follow-up, knowing that COVID is going to impact all of our present, now we have a different future, everyone. Have you thought about the potential of using virtual speaking engagements, and how can we help you that way? Maybe just to explore.
I went on one radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have this Daily Huddle, but
Mm-hmm.
that's about all.
Okay.
I thought about doing Zoom for high school students,
Mm-hmm.
but it's now the end of high school, so they're out for the summer.
Okay. Well, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, everybody. Molly, it's your turn to say your last words. Giovanni, unless you have something to say.
You know, I have maybe a quick question for you, Molly, before you give us your last words. And I know you kind of framed it at the end with the quotes. I love that quote about everything's going to be all right at the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. That was just it was a very powerful quote, right? I really got that one. And so you were kind of framing, but there is an inner strength that you have, and that people who go through the kind of impact that you've gone through, right? On a daily basis, what do you hold on to reinvent yourself?
I'm sorry, will you rephrase that?
Yeah, like on a daily basis, life is difficult, right? Where do you go as far as your thoughts to give yourself strength? Like how do How do you create yourself? Where do you go to have strengths on a daily basis?
Well, I keep thinking to myself, like, what's next? I've got to keep going and find some new thing to work on. And I've made so much progress throughout this journey. I always look for ways in which I can progress.
Oh, I got that. What's next? I see the power. I just kind of siding. I just see it in a whole new way when you say what's next. Is what's next? It's a small win that creates a powerful context for all of us, right? Yeah, very good. Thank you, Molly. Molly, what is your last words for all of us?
Probably it's not worth it. It like no text message, no video chat, no conversation is worth the pain and suffering that I go through on a day-to-day basis.
It's not worth it. Molly, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all in the Daily Huddle live studio here at Zoom for being here and creating this phenomenal day. Sorrel, finishes up all of us.
Well, there you have it, folks. Life isn't so terrible. Why give up? And I can tell you personally that on a daily basis, there are micro moments in my life when I give up. And I'll go out on a limb and say that that's probably the case for each of us. But what's real and what's true is that we have the power to just look beyond that second and say, what's next? And go for it. Well, thank you for being here, everyone. We'll see you on Monday on the Daily Huddle. Have a phenomenal weekend.
Thank you, Molly.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
weekend.
Thank you, Molly. Have a
Everyone.
great weekend. Thank you.
Molly.
Thank you.